All right, so it is, in fact, 9 o'clock, and for some reason, it looks like we don't have some people on the channel right now. So let me try to see if anyone is here. So log in real quick. As I'm trying to find you guys, it's good to see you. We're starting up classes today, so hopefully you guys are excited about that. I know I am. We have a lot of stuff to get through. For health class, probably not as much, but we definitely still need to get through all the stuff that we do need to do. All right, so for today, let's see here. I'm trying to find if we can. Yeah. There we go. All right, excellent. So I'll just get started for today. Hopefully, we'll have some people logging on in a bit here. That would be beneficial. I want to also mention to you guys that for today, what we're going to be doing during our class period is I have a worksheet actually for you guys, and I actually forgot to upload that worksheet, so I will do that. Actually, I might have uploaded that worksheet to ThinkWave. So make sure if you go to your ThinkWave account and open, let's see here. So if you go to your assignments and you press on, let's see here, trying to get all this loaded up for you guys. And so grade the video. All right, so make sure you go to your assignments. You can see on for today, we have pages 209 to 211, and that is actually going to be section 7.4. There is an attachment. I have placed an attachment in the description for you guys. So make sure you press on that, open it up, and log in, or actually not really log in, but make sure you have that available. And since you have that available, we're going to be actually going through it today, actually, and that's going to be pretty much our homework. So you can see here about questions 1 through 9. That is going to be questions we're doing in class, and then homework. We have 2 homework questions for you guys. Also notice that this is going to be due the next time we meet. For health class, we're actually going to only meet 1 time a week. We are actually almost done with the book, so you guys are almost there, almost seniors, I guess you could say, but still, we still have a quarter left to do, so try not to get ahead of yourself too much. So we see here, I'll just go ahead and start right on up here. So section 7.4, we're actually going to be talking about tobacco in your health. Tobacco is probably one of the most commonly abused addictive substances that there is, and it is in fact the leading cause of preventable causes of death in the United States. So that's actually going to be your first one, is smoking. Smoking is going to be the leading preventable cause of death in the United States. Pretty crazy just to think about that. You know, a lot of people do this for different reasons, maybe to relax them. So it can definitely be kind of a really tricky situation. There's actually a chart in your book. Make sure you take a look at that on page 209. It says tobacco deaths versus other causes. So you can see here we have tobacco, we have accidents, right under there around, what is it? Just under 100,000 deaths right there. And then alcohol is the next one. I'm pretty sure we've already talked about that. Yeah, in our previous chapter as well, and then we also have other instances there also. So kind of notice that and kind of see how that is for us today. But you kind of think about this, well, tobacco, why is it so dangerous? Well, the reason really why it's dangerous is because of the active ingredient inside of the cigarettes that we have, and that is actually nicotine. So nicotine is kind of a substance here. It's very addictive, of course. It's a stimulant, but also has some depressant effects. So kind of interesting. If we have high doses of that, you can definitely have some headaches, nervousness, as well as irritability. So that is definitely the drug that is involved in smoking as well. Not only that, kind of think about some effects of smoking. You know, there's a lot of them. There's only three that I really want to mention. They're kind of in your text here, but first of all, this is going to increase the workload of your heart. So on number three, right here, effects of smoking. Number one, increase your heart's workload. Notice that your heart is such a powerful organ. You know, it's one of the best pumps. I think the text might have said it in here or in my biology book. I can't quite remember, but it's the best pump that any man has ever created. That's pretty amazing to think about. However, anytime you're putting stuff in your body that can hinder what is going on, your biological processes, that is definitely going to injure or inhibit your body from doing things. Uh, think about your circulatory system. You have blood circulating throughout your body. You know that's very important for oxygen exchange as well for your body to enable for it to actually live pretty much. And so it's an interesting thing. The more stress you're going to put on your body, the more it's going to really hinder how that works also. Number two, your lungs. Definitely your lungs is probably one of the biggest things that you can actually experience with this. So your lungs have this gas exchange. And you know when you think about gas, so if we have the air around us, you know, we're speaking at our normal voice. We have helium, some of your chemistry students. And when we put helium in our lungs, it's going to have your voice is going to go a little bit higher. Think about this. If you're starting to put things into your lungs, such as smoke, that's going to really inhibit the gas exchange, that alveoli that are in your lungs in order for you to actually be a healthy individual. Not only that, but probably the most severe effects of smoking is probably cancer. Cancer is definitely one of those things that we're still doing a lot of research on. Still very important for us to make sure that we're taking care of our bodies. God has given us bodies, and we need to make sure that whatever we do, it's pleasing to the Lord. Number four here. Oh, and also before we get to number four, there's a little quote on the bottom of it that says right here, what is the result of, oh, not none of that. Hold on. Before we get there, first of all, don't miss the medical meaning. So on our page, on page 209 at the bottom right here, it says carcino, referring to cancer. We just talked about cancer with our lungs and smoking. And then gen refers to something that produces. So carcinogen, cancerous producing cells, of course. So make sure you guys understand that. I want to make sure to put that in the worksheet here for you guys so that you understand what you guys need to know. Number four says, what is the result of smoking characterized by a consistent coughing, shortness of breath, constricted bronchial tubes, and some diseases such as pneumonia? So we have a wide variety here that you can see. The answer is almost kind of in the question, I guess. You can see here, it's going to be a smoker's cough. So usually every time, not all the time, but most of the time, you're always going to hear that wheezing noise of heavy smokers. You can definitely get that when you are smoking. You know, it's going to constrict your bronchial tubes. You're going to have real shortness of breath because you're not going to have a sufficient gas exchange inside of your lungs. And definitely pneumonia, when you have that fluid inside of your lungs, it's still going to really inhibit the gas exchange that is actually happening with your body. So very important. Number five, we have, what are harmful substances that are taken into the body in sufficient amounts? Kind of already talked about that. That's carcinogens. You know, carcinogens, we've already talked about a lot of different types of cancer cells, sarcomas, trying to think of other ones that we've been talking about, but mostly those ideas that you can kind of think about there. Not only that, so if you are a person who does smoke, so number six here, smoking individuals are blank as likely to die of a heart attack than non-smokers. So we already kind of know when we have someone who is smoking, they're putting that toxic material inside of your lungs, and as that happens, you're not going to get gas exchange at all. It's not going to be very good for you and for the health of your body. But you are 2 times likely to die of a heart attack if you are a smoker. Notice this. Your body is undertaking a lot of pressure, a lot of stress. We've actually been talking about that in chemistry a little bit too, about stress. And when we have that being pressed upon our hearts, man, that's going to really be detrimental to our arteries and as well as our veins and our entire body because we're pretty much dealing with our circulatory system. Number 7, this disease is characterized by the degeneration of the alveoli resulting of the malfunctioning enzymes. Emphysema. So emphysema, kind of this idea here, where we have, of course, we have our bronchial tubes. Let me see if I can get what's out here. So we have our bronchial tubes here. Of course, they branch out. If you've ever seen an esophagus kind of like this, it's going to be kind of rib-shaped almost. So these are eventually going to go out into our lungs. I'll try to draw our lungs for you guys. So here's our one lung. And here's our next lung that you can kind of see here, kind of figure. But anytime we see this, we're going to see our trachea, of course. That's going to go into our bronchial tubes, of course. And then it also, as that kind of, we have this tubular idea here. It's going to get small. It's going to actually branch, not really smaller, but branch off from each other. And as those branch off of each other, we're going to get these little sacs called alveoli. And these alveoli are very important because that's where we actually have that gas exchange. I'm pretty sure we've already talked about that, especially in health class. And when we're putting almost that substance in our body, I know we can get a lot of buildup of tar as well, and that can be definitely hurtful for our bodies as well. So that's kind of an example, quick drawing for you guys. So hopefully you guys saw that. Most well-known cancer is associated with smoking. Well, you guys can probably already guess that, dealing with the lungs. We've already talked about the lungs right here. Though your heart is definitely affected by it, the lungs will definitely be the most serious cause of that as well. Number 9, this tobacco product contains about the same amount of nicotine as cigarettes. That will be known as a dip. On the page of 211, it says here on smokeless tobacco, it says here, smokeless tobacco products come in various forms. A dip of chewing tobacco contains about the same amount of nicotine as one cigarette. According to the National Cancer Institution, a person who regularly chews tobacco increases the risk of oral cancer. For this reason, smokeless tobacco should not be considered a safe alternative of smoking. So anytime you're putting things in your body where you can get cancer, that's just not good for our health. So we need to make sure that we understand that as well. For our health class, that's pretty much our section that we needed to go through today. So for homework tonight, you can see number 1, what psychoactive drug is the active ingredient in tobacco, and then number 2, what if we have heavy amounts of nicotine produced, what type of dependence are we going to get from that? So go ahead and work on that, and that pretty much sums up everything we needed to know today. So make sure you guys understand. Go to ThinkWave and press on that link about our health 7.4. Press on that. Fill in all of the information. I filled it all in right here. Make sure you guys upload it by April 30. April 30, not 30th. April 3rd. I believe that's the next Monday. So next Monday. Actually, it's going to be April 6th. So April 6th, you're going to need to upload this so that you guys can get credit for this. Before we end, I want to make sure you guys understand that 60% of your class grade is going to be homework. So everything that every time I upload these papers, you need to make sure you do those to completion. I am going to grade those, and from those grades, you are going to get your final grade, of course, obviously. So make sure you're doing those completely. Other than that, I think we're all ready for you guys to get set on your homework questions. So go ahead and work on that. I'm going to end our YouTube live stream, but I'm going to stay on the line here to see if I can get anyone else on the line. So thank you guys. We're going to end the YouTube channel right now. Yeah, so I don't know.